Welcome to the Mormo Zone. I'm Mormo Zine. I got a best-selling book on punk rock. I made movies. I've been up on the silver screen. I've been in magazines, the stage. I've done all kinds of stuff. And tonight's show, I'm here. We're going to be talking about the It remake. We're going to be talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. We're going to be talking about Queen from Freddie Mercury with Freddie Mercury, and we're going to be talking also about the George Romero star in Hollywood. And I'd like to introduce my guest, Billy Pollihan. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Mormo. I'm doing pretty awesome.
Great. And so I picked Billy because he's recently watched some trauma movies, and I wanted to. I guess you were saying you were at the trauma booth at a convention.
I was, and it pretty much had all of the work they had there, like Nukem High, Toxic Avenger, Tromeo Juliet, all that jazz.
Nice, nice. But was Lloyd there at all, or
No, it's just it's people that work for Troma. I really wish Lloyd Kaufman was there though, because I would love to just talk with him, just about anything really.
yeah, he's awesome. My favorite Lloyd story is the first time I met him. I was 14 at the San Diego Comic-Con, and I was wearing a Last House on the Left t-shirt, and he was wearing a Surf Nazis Must Die t-shirt. And he looked over at me and said, "Nice t-shirt." And I was like, "Yeah, your t-shirt's cool too, man." Was there Tromettes there? Was there any Tromettes at the booth, or?
There was no Tromets. Um, it was just these two guys that are just like, hey, browse some trauma stuff, and there was one guy dressed up as Toxie, like with the mask and the mop and everything.
That's awesome, dude. And you picked up Toxic Avenger.
I did, because it was the one that started it all.
Did you get it on DVD or Blu-ray?
Blu-ray.
Right on, cool. And you've had a chance to watch it.
I have.
What'd you think of it?
Um, it is very cheesy, but I absolutely loved it. It's part of its charm.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got a cheesy sense of humor, and they're working with a fairly low budget as compared to Hollywood, but the creativity and everything makes up for it. What were some of your favorite parts?
Um, I'm gonna sound like a sadomasochist, but when the kid on the bike gets run over and they run over his head, just knowing how that effect came to be when when Toxie takes his revenge on on the bullies, and really when the fast food place gets robbed, and then
Oh yeah, the
well,
taco joint.
the taco joint, and what Toxie does to those guys, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, it's awesome that it's Tromaville. There's always like these gangs, these street gangs of like miscreants, and they're usually painted up and stuff. And I remember he has like a shotgun. He's like, "Drop the taco."
Yeah, um, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite parts of Toxic Avenger is when Melvin, the janitor, they play that joke on him and make him kiss a sheep.
And he's just like, "You're so soft," and then somehow they got everybody at that pool to come and just laugh over the top at him, and he wears the most just ridiculous tutu that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know where he got it, but okay.
Yeah, she told him she wanted him to wear a tutu or something, and then he flies out the window. Oh, cool. I see Cal's here. Vita, Desio, Martin is here. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in live. Really appreciate it. We're just talking Toxic Avenger. Have you seen any of the sequels, Billy? Or
I've seen Citizen Toxie, but I have not seen 2 or 3. Oddly, very oddly, I have not seen 2 or 3, but I have seen 4, Citizen Toxie.
yes, and part 4 is pretty hilarious, man. It's a really funny movie, really over the top and kind of gross out. It's like Trauma kind of took a turn between part 3 and part 4, but part 2 is, I believe, where he goes to Japan, which is a great one, and then part 3 has one of my favorite scenes of the whole series where there's no more crime in Tromaville, so it shows Toxie flip over a table of these old ladies gambling at bridge, like there's like such little crime. He's gotta like stop old ladies from gambling. It's so funny. So who did you see at the convention?
A couple of people. Jewel State, Summer Glau from the Firefly and Serenity
Oh wow.
films. Xander from Buffy and Cordelia from Buffy as well. They were really nice.
That's awesome. Did you get any pictures or autographs or anything?
Yeah, I did. I got a couple. Oh yeah, Pippin, Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings. He's a really cool guy as well.
Oh wow, awesome. And so let's see, let's talk about it. Are you pretty stoked to see the movie It, the remake?
I don't know. I think I am. I got this. There was another thing at the convention where there was a VR experience, and I absolutely had to do it. And it's a pretty good VR. I'm really excited for it. I think they've got something special.
Yeah, it's a great story, and at one point I was negative against it because I went and saw this movie called The Beguiled 2017. I don't know if you saw previews for that or.
I did. I actually saw that movie.
Oh, really? What'd you think of it?
I thought it was good. It was.
Yeah,
It was the remake with Colin Farrell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
I was a big fan of the original, and I was really disappointed in the remake, and so I was like, man, fuck remakes. I'm like not gonna go see it now. But I mean, it's grown on me. It's like at a point where it's not just a movie, it's an event. You know what I mean? It opening up, its premiere. Everybody's making plans. I know the Alamo Theater by my house is doing a clown-only screening, so I thought about getting painted up and going down and watching that clown-only It. And one of the things I think is really cool about the remake is that it's set in the 80s, which is when I grew up, and so there'll be like a nostalgia factor for me probably with all the 80s shit like Stranger Things kind of had, and I think it's a great story. Like I have a problem with people who badmouth the original though. Have you seen the original It miniseries?
I have. And it's funny you mentioned Stranger Things because one of the kids from Stranger Things is actually playing one of the kids in it. So it makes me scared that he'll be typecast as a 80s nerd. But hey, whatever pays the bills, man.
Yeah, for sure. I was a big fan of the original It, and I kind of have some concerns about like the new clown. Is he going to be as good as Tim Curry was? you know, and I think Tim Curry did a great job in the original, and but I don't know, this movie should be pretty good, and it's going to be a two-parter, right? They're making one part and then the second part.
Yeah, because it's such a big book, and I love Tim Curry in it. And my favorite part of that miniseries were the kid parts. Really, I thought the kids did a better job than the adults did. I still like it a lot, but a lot of it is very dated, and some of it doesn't hold up. Tim Curry, though, yeah, he's really really good as Pennywise, and I don't know. I think Bill Skarsgård can bring it. He seems to be doing a very different version, but quite frankly, I mean, he looks freaky. So why not? I'll give him a shot.
Yeah, I was bad mouthing it at my job. I was like, yeah, you know, real clowns don't use computer animation and computer tricks and stuff. And then my buddy goes, man, you use computer tricks with that green screen you're in front of. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm a hypocrite, I guess. So. But that's cool. Lost in a Dub says he likes clowns.
I'm not surprised.
I'm like, the movie is called It. Yeah, yeah. Are you going like opening night or?
I'm going the night before it officially opens, and I'm stoked. I already got my ticket, and
Oh wow!
yeah.
How'd you manage to get that ticket?
I just went to. I mean, they have advanced tickets sales, and usually at the cinemas I go to, they have like late night showings. So I just went up and I asked, "Hey, can I get a ticket for it?" And I did, and yeah, it's gonna be a later showing, but I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
That'll probably be tons of fun. I bet there'll be chicks screaming in the audience, like at the scary parts, and like the whole audience will be reacting all at once and hooting and hollering and everything.
Oh yeah,
Sounds like
I can't.
sounds like a great time, man.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, the Alamo, that's a cool place. There's this theater by my house called the Moxie. It's up in Springfield, Missouri, and they're an art theater, and they're really cool. I'm actually a member. My mom bought me a membership there for the year, and so I get like discounts on popcorn and stuff, and there's certain free movies I can go see. And I asked them to show the new Leatherface movie because it's getting a limited release. You know, it's going to be on video on demand, and then there's going to be a limited theatrical release. So I asked the art theater, "Can you show the Leatherface movie?" And they said they thanked me for being a member, and they said, we'll ask the film booker, but it's a long shot. So they may or may not. Hopefully at least they show it at the Alamo or somewhere around here. Because I'm really excited to see it. That Leatherface movie is directed by the director of Inside, that French horror movie.
Hmm.
And it should be a good one. And so our next topic was going to be Nightmare on Elm Street. Have you watched Nightmare on Elm Street recently, or?
Not recently, but I love it. Freddy Krueger is my favorite of the second horror icons. Really, like the slasher ones. I love Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, me too. I had a Freddy poster, hanging on my wall when I was a kid, with the sweater, the red and green striped sweater. Oh, my friend Andy's watching. That Leatherface movie is going to be a direct-to-video turd. It's been sitting on the shelf for 2 years. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's got some like powerhouse directors. I thought the trailer looked pretty good. And you know, these franchise guys, these slashers we all grew up with, like to see them is like seeing an old friend. I've described it like to see Herbert West in House of the Reanimator or Part 3 or whatever. It's like seeing an old friend who went through a bad divorce or something. It's like good to see him even though times aren't that great, you know what I mean? But they're like old friends, you know, like these franchise characters and stuff. And so, and plus, Halloween's right around the corner. I want to go see the Halloween movie and everything.
I agree. A tradition of watching Halloween on Halloween, so that's always fun.
Right on. That's awesome. I know I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the big screen one Halloween night. I think I worked at Toys R Us when I did that and got some people from my work to go watch it with me. Great movie. And on 35 millimeter too, I really like seeing movies in 35 millimeter, and the Alamo is showing Enter the Dragon in 35 millimeter, which I think will be a lot of fun.
Nice.
What's your favorite? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just about to say, this is going to be the first year I'm going to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've actually never seen the original. And
oh, wow.
It's going to be exciting because I bought it. So, yeah, I've been told it is one of the best horror movies of all time. So,
it's raw, man.
High.
Yeah, it's a pretty raw movie, just like extreme terror and definitely a frightening one. The whole story behind it is kind of frightening too. Tobe Hooper, the director, recently passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with the girl who played Pam in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm friends with her on MySpace, and she was saying that like Tobe basically terrorized her on set when they were making that movie, and that it was like a pretty extreme situation and everything, and that they didn't even really keep in touch. But I mean, it's a great movie. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is also great.
Yeah, I've been told that's also a very different movie.
Yeah, it's more comedic. It was done by Golem Globus, and it has Dennis Hopper, so it has like a big star in it, and it's totally different. What's your favorite Nightmare on Elm Street kill, would you say?
Let's see. I mean, the first one has the one where Johnny Depp dies. That's a fun one. I'm trying to remember. How about Dream Warriors? Because that's the second best Nightmare. And I don't know if that's the primetime bitch one where he sticks the girl's head through his TV chest and he's just like, "It's a prime time, bitch." That's one of my favorites. Also, Dream Warriors is amazing.
Yeah, Dream Warriors is good. I watched one of them with my dad when I was a kid. I don't know if it was part 4 or part 3. I'm not exactly sure on that. My favorite kill is Andy says when he kills the girl with the TV, "Welcome to Primetime, bitch." That's his favorite kill too, I guess. But my favorite one is the one where he has Q-tips on his fingers. And the guy goes, "No, Mom, don't make me deaf."
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember.
Something about that freaks me out so bad, man. It's like,
Yeah, that's a good one. I also like the one where it was the guy that smoked pot and he was trapped in a video game, and it's hilarious because they treat it like it's acid. I'm like, that's not how pot works, but I'll go with it. I'll go with it. And he's being played by Freddy with the power glove.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Oh, Jeff Holt just showed up. He says, I'm sorry I'm late. I love you, Mormo. Love you too, Jeff Holt. Thanks so much for tuning in. Our chat room is kind of bumping right now. There's all kinds of people talking. Kingslayer asked you to do a Michael Myers impression.
Oh, that's easy.
Or Jason Voorhees.
You just go like, and just look at somebody while you slightly tilt your head. I see the piano to go like, doo-doo-doo.
Yeah. Do you think there's the future for Freddy Krueger? The remake was, I enjoyed it, but it was not all that well received, I don't think. Do you think they could go further with that franchise of the remake, like make another Freddy with the same actor and everything? Or
I don't think they can get Robert Englund again. I like to replace him. He was Rorschach in Watchmen, Jackie Earl Haley. He was just in The Tick on Amazon, and he was pretty good there. I didn't mind him as Freddy. I didn't like how he looked. It's just, when comparing it, it's just not as good a movie. And as for the future of the franchise, I don't know. With Wes Craven gone, he's been gone for a few years. I feel like we should put it to rest. I mean, if they do it, they should do it with love and care, because a lot of people do care about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, including myself. I don't want it to become a parody of itself. I mean, it already did, but we don't need to beat the dead horse. I don't know.
well, I know you're a little bit younger than me, but I remember when I was younger, they had Freddy's Nightmares on TV. Like, maybe they could make Freddy come back as a TV character in like a TV show, because it seems in a way that TV is almost better at telling stories than Hollywood is lately, and the big screen. Oh, Andy says, I want to see a Halloween movie that Danny McBride is making. That should be cool. A new
I
Halloween.
heard about that. John Carpenter's gave his blessing and everything. I want to say hi to Raul. He says his favorite death is when the comic book guy gets killed in comic book fashion. I like that one too. I think that was also in Dream Warriors. Either Dream Warriors or Dream Master. And Tom says New Nightmare is peak. I would have to agree with that. New Nightmare was probably it was one of the best, up there with the original. And Cal the Kingslayer says, I think Brian Hurst would do it justice. He's a huge fan. Brian's a friend of the show and all.
Right on, yeah. New Nightmare was definitely a good one because the series was getting kind of silly, and then they went in a more serious route and took it out and like became more self-aware, like Wes Craven would later do with Scream movies and everything.
Yeah, it was it was a good reinvention done by the guy that created the entire thing. And it was also cool that Heather Langenkamp, who was Nancy, is playing herself, and that they got John Saxon back as well. He was like, for like, there's got to be a big actor in all these franchises, or a well-established actor. Like Betsy Palmer was for Friday the 13th. Donald Pleasance was in Halloween, and John Saxon was Nightmare on Elm Street, and they're all great.
And then wasn't Roseanne Barr in one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets too?
She was. I'm trying to remember which one, but Roseanne was in one.
That might have been the one that was in 3D. I remember
Oh, Freddy's Dead.
getting the 3D glasses, and it was only like the last 15 or 10 minutes or whatever
yep,
the
she was in
movie.
that one. Freddy's Dead.
Yeah. So let's see. So we wanted to talk about music a little bit, and we were going to bring up Queen. I know Queen is one of the first CDs I ever bought when CD was brand new. I bought Queen, one of the greatest hits albums, and I bought the Cool World soundtrack, which had Ministry and My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult on it. But Queen was pretty influential as being like, oh, good night, Cal. Cal's going to bed.
Night, Cal.
But and like Queen was one of the influential rock bands for me, having their CD. Chase Geyer says Queen is my favorite band.
Yes, Chase just got so much cooler because Queen is also my favorite band.
Yeah, they're great, and they've been in the news lately. A lot of people have been bringing up Queen, and like I think isn't there a new movie coming out that's like has Queen as the soundtrack or something?
Yeah, it's a sort of biopic for Freddie Mercury with Rami Malek from Mr. Robot playing Freddie, and it's the formation of the band up into the Live Aid performance in '85. So it was 6 years before Freddie Mercury died, and yeah, the picture, he looks great. He looks awesome, and they're gonna mix his voice with Freddie's and a Freddie impersonator. I think that he's like really good at it because the most important part of Queen's entire thing is Freddie Mercury's vocals because that guy could sing and write and pretty much do anything. I think he was a genius, and yeah. Funny enough, I just got done watching A Knight's Tale for the first time, and they started it with Queen's "We Will Rock You." I knew I was in for a good time immediately.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I know Queen is great soundtrack music. They did Flash Gordon and Highlander, right?
I haven't seen Highlander, but I love Flash Gordon, and now I need to see Highlander because Queen did the soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah. And I think lately people have been bringing up like how tragic it is that Freddie Mercury died so young, and like how many more soundtracks he could have done, like movies that came out that he could have done the soundtrack for and everything. What is like a dream, like what recent movie do you think could have had a great Queen soundtrack?
The director of Thor Ragnarok, Taika Waititi, said he wanted, if Freddie Mercury was still alive, he would probably want Queen to do the soundtrack, and that would have been great because that's exactly the tone they're going for. And I'm excited for that movie. I would have wanted, well, really anything that's sort of self-referential in a way, or just epic. I would have wanted them to do the soundtrack for. It's like AC/DC when they did Maximum Overdrive. It's weird sometimes, but it's just great. And yeah, Thor Ragnarok. Tom agrees with me. I would have wanted the Thor Ragnarok score to be composed by Queen. And yeah, this whole movie, I was really disappointed that the star Sacha Baron Cohen, who is Borat and Bruno and stuff, he looks just like Freddie Mercury. I mean, you just put the mustache on him, and he can also sing really well, just on his own. So I was really sad when he left. But I like Bryan Singer. I think he's a good director. They've got a good cast so far. Mad Max would have been awesome if it was done by Queen. Like
Is Bryan Singer the one who directed X-Men?
yeah, and The Usual Suspects. He's
Okay.
he's a good director. But, yeah.
Right on. Yeah, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I think would have been great with some Queen songs, some new Queen songs. That another space opera, you know.
Yeah, it's I was disappointed also that the recent Guardians didn't have any Queen on their soundtrack, and I feel like it could have. I mean, they've made so many good songs. I just go on YouTube sometimes, just look up their greatest hits, and I listen to all of it, like, Bicycle Race, um, We Are the Champions, Can Anybody, Somebody to Love. I could name like a lot of songs, and my favorite is Bohemian Rhapsody. Like that is my all-time favorite song. I will stop what I'm doing, and I will sing the entire song. Doesn't matter what. That's how much I love that song. So
yeah, I listen to classic rock in my car, and just today there was a Queen song playing while I was at the gas station. There was a Queen song playing.
yeah,
Always great music. It still stands up, and I just don't get tired of it, you know.
yeah. Tom brought up the best scene in Wayne's World where they're rocking out to Bohemian Rhapsody. I will agree with that for sure.
Yeah, and then Andy was saying Maximum Overdrive is fantastic. It's all one big cocaine hallucination by Stephen King. And didn't Stephen King direct Maximum Overdrive too?
Yeah, he did, and it's weird because the main truck, because it's like all about the machines getting self-aware and stuff, and all these people are trapped at a gas station, and the lead truck has the face of the Green Goblin, and it's really funny. And the entire soundtrack is just AC/DC, straight up AC/DC, and it's awesome. Emilio Estevez is great. The Commissioner Gordon from the Burton Batman movies is in it as well, and I think the voice actress for Lisa Simpson was in it. It has some awesome kills as well. Somebody gets killed by a Coke machine.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
That actually happens a lot in real. That happens to like 80 people a year.
Yeah, like
Get
it was
killed
literally
by a
just
Coke
it was throwing Cokes at a guy who just wanted to get one, and it's that kind of movie.
Yeah, I remember when Stephen King had a cameo in the movie, and he's at an ATM, and he's like, "Honey, the ATM just told me to go fuck myself," or something like
Oh
that.
yeah. And Kimber's mentioning albums for Queen. The Black Side of Queen 2 is a masterpiece. I will agree there. Fairy Feller's Master Stroke is a very good Queen song. I also like News of the World. I think that is a very good album. Very scary cover, but very awesome album. And Andy says Pat Hingley is the name of he was the commissioner in Burton's Batman movies. So Pat Hingley.
Okay, the machine called him an asshole, is what it was.
Good old Stephen
Yeah.
King, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and apparently he's really hyped for it and thinks it's great, I've heard.
I'm 50-50 on what Stephen King likes, because he does not like The Shining, which I understand that because it's a terrible adaptation, but it's a great movie. But he also gave approval for The Dark Tower, which was not a good movie. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on his adaptations, but I'm glad that King is happy because, I mean, he literally created it. So if anybody's approval means the most, or whoever's approval means the most, it's going to be his.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Did you go see Dark Tower? Or?
I went to a free screening, thankfully, and it was not good. It was not good. It was too short. It was they left out so much from the books. Like it was a disaster. Just it was in
Oh
development
wow.
hell for a long time. It's one of the worst developments ever. It's up there with Terry Gilliam's film The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. It's not as long as that production was, but it was bad. And Tom's asking, what is the best and worst King movie? That is a good question. If you want to answer first, go ahead, because I'm still thinking of my answers.
Well, for worst, I would think possibly Children of the Corn 2. It was a pretty bad movie. Um, I was just thinking about this story the other day. I went and saw it, and in the preview there was a scene where the girl falls down and like her boobs kind of fall out of her dress, and that scene was coming up in the theater, and the film started skipping.
Oh,
Yeah, and some guy yelled out, "Come on, this is the only reason I came to see this movie." Yeah, they made some pretty bad sequels though. For best Stephen King movie, I'd probably have to go with The Shining, actually. I think that's the best one, the best made one. As far as what's left a big impact on me, like I've seen a lot of them over the years, but that one, like I feel has the rewatchability. And I went and saw it on the big screen, and just seeing all of Jack Nicholson's expressions on the big screen, like gave me a whole new appreciation of the movie. And yeah, I'd probably say that was my favorite.
I think my favorite, just because it's probably his most faithful adaptation, is Carrie. I mean, it's not like direct from the book, but also Carrie is probably my favorite Stephen King book as well. It's very simple. It's one of his earliest. It's probably the one that launched his career into what it is, especially with like his horror novels. And for worst, I'm gonna have to say Dreamcatchers. It's not that good. It's ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, I don't remember that much about it. I remember there was a scene where the guy was on the toilet and he had matches or something like that. I
Yeah,
saw it on the big screen. I haven't seen it since, but
it's
it seemed
really
like
shit
it was a
out.
big budget movie.
It's bad, really bad.
It had Ben Affleck, right?
Had let me see. It had Thomas Jane, Damian Lewis, Timothy Oliphant, Jason Lee, Donnie Wahlberg, Morgan Freeman, and Tom Sizemore of all people, because he pops up in everything. But this is
Wow, so it
really
had a
really bad because this was directed, produced, and written by Lawrence Kasdan, who you might know as the writer for The Empire Strikes Back. That's really bad.
oh wow. And he was saying he was partial to the Stand miniseries as his favorite. Um, Odd Shape Channel says best The Mist, worst Cell, and I didn't see Cell.
I didn't see Cell.
I saw I saw Mist and wasn't crazy about it. I didn't like the ending. And then Chase says best The Shining, worst Dreamcatchers, honorable mention Stand By Me. Yeah, that Stand By Me was a great movie, great cast.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption is probably the best of his drama, even though it's based on a short story. Same with
Mm-hmm.
Stand By Me. They're both two amazing, amazing movies. Like of the best movies, you can argue either Shining or Shawshank, and I'm gonna pick Shawshank. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, definitely. That's a classic, and it has that rewatchability. Anytime it's on TBS, you can just watch it over and over again. There's like life lessons in that movie you can like learn from that movie, you know?
Yeah.
Todd said, or Odd Shape Channel says, is Stephen King more successful with drama or horror? And I'd have to say horror. I mean,
I have to say horror as well. He's just got more stuff with horror, like Cujo, Children of the Corn. It's Carrie, Christine. That's a fun one. Somebody, Jeff, I think mentioned The Langoliers, which is a ridiculous one. Tommyknockers is a ridiculously bad one. All his cliches are in there. Like they're all in Maine. The bullies are ridiculously cliched. There's like some slight against Christianity for some reason. All the adults are idiots. All those cliches, I love them. But his dramas are also really good. I just think he's more famous for horror simply because you think more of Stephen King's stuff with horror. And I'm not saying his dramas aren't bad, because Tom also mentioned Green Mile, which is another great movie. But I mean, when you generally think of Stephen King, you think of his horror stuff first.
yeah, definitely. Andy brought up that Gerald's Game is getting brought to Netflix soon, and that should be interesting. I know I couldn't get through the book. I found the book to be pretty dry, but should make a good series, definitely.
Yeah.
And Running Man. Tom brings up Running Man. That was a great book. I loved the book, and then I was super disappointed in the movie. Although now I think the movie has merit on its own as just being a classic '80s action movie. But
Oh yeah, that's right.
I thought the
Arnold movie.
of the book was so intense and thought provoking. And Raoul says he loves Christine. I was just thinking about Christine as a great horror story. I never read the book, but I like when the fat guy gets crushed by the car when it goes through the alley. That's an awesome scene.
No,
The one.
I got Running Man on my mind now. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, that was a great movie. And okay, so there was one more thing we wanted to talk about, and that's the, George Romero's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And what it is that there's people trying to raise money to put a George Romero star on Hollywood. They're asking Romero's fans to cough up money to pay for the party and everything that would go with putting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And he honestly, he deserves it, but I just don't consider Romero a Hollywood person at all. Like he made the one movie, the zombie movie with the big tower. Land of the Dead. He made Land of the Dead. That was like a Hollywood movie. And he made a Stephen King movie. I want to say he directed The Dark Half.
He did.
And that may or may not have been Hollywood. I don't know. But like I know Romero as a guy who was looking for money his whole life. He was trying to find money for his movies. And nobody would fund him. Hollywood would not fund him. He was trying to make Land of the Dead for like years and years, and then Hollywood funded the Dawn of the Dead remake before they funded Land of the Dead. And like to me, I would probably chip in if we were building George Romero a statue in Pittsburgh. But in Hollywood, I just don't consider him a Hollywood personality, and I'm not willing to pay money to have him remembered. It's like Hollywood. It's like Hollywood should Like, if they want to honor him, they should pick up the tab themselves. I don't want to fucking pay for it. But if they were making a George Romero statue in Pittsburgh, then I might chip in a little bit of money for that. What do you think about a Hollywood star for Romero?
First, it's funny you mentioned Land of the Dead because guy who played Big Daddy in Land of the Dead was at the convention I went to, and I got to talk with him, and he's a really cool guy, really tall as well.
Nice.
And very scary. And I get what you're saying. I think they should just give him the star anyway because he's more than changed the game and just horror in general, which is a big thing in Hollywood. He was mostly an independent director, and he was offered a big Hollywood deal for Night of the Living Dead, but they wanted him to change some things about the story. He said no, and that is really awesome for me. That just means that he cared about his work, and he didn't care about selling out or any of that stuff. I'd be okay with like a statue of him or something, but really he'll always be remembered for his work, and pretty much everything he's made has had an impact on people that go into especially the horror industry for sure, and people that go into like, stuff like The Walking Dead or Z Nation, all those zombie stuff. They all owe it to him, and I think his legacy is secure, but I agree. I wouldn't want to pay for a star. I just would rather them give him a posthumous star.
Yeah, and then people are asking, like, is he even going to be acknowledged at the Oscars in memoriam because of being a Hollywood outsider? Like, there's speculation about whether or not he'll be mentioned at the Oscars this year, but I don't know. Just to me, like I don't know. I just don't want to pay for it in Hollywood. Like, he just to me, he wasn't even part of the Hollywood system, and I think he should be remembered, and I would chip in some other way, but
I think anything to secure his legacy would be great, or like anything to remember him by would be great. But he was just so distanced from Hollywood, or he distanced himself so far from Hollywood that I really don't see the point in it. If he gets one, that's great, like in recognition of all the work he did. But if not, then that's okay because he's got millions upon millions of fans, and he probably died with a lot of money because of his because of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, and all of that, the Of the Dead series.
He actually didn't make any money off of Night of the Living Dead. He forgot to put a copyright claim on the movie.
Yeah, I forgot. That's why it's public domain. That's why you can find it really easily too. You could probably look on YouTube and find it for free. But it's such a good movie though.
Yeah, and it just changed the whole horror genre and the meaning of a zombie and the creation of the zombie epidemic. And the Alamo recently on their website, they were saying that it was based off of the Omega Man, and I think the Night of the Living Dead was more closely like related to the book I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. And I've heard in interviews Romero actually comment about being inspired by that novel and actually bringing it up. He met Richard Matheson and brought it up and said, I was inspired by it, but I didn't even make any money off of the movie anyway. So, but I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, it's been a sad month for horror, man, with Romero passing and Toby Hooper passing, and seems like a lot of legends. I wanna reach out to the people who are still here that I admire, like John Waters and Lloyd Kaufman. I interact with Lloyd Kaufman on Twitter quite a bit, but I'd like to like write a fan letter to John Waters, who's been a big inspiration to me my whole life, and other people. It's like, because you if you don't, you regret it, when people finally pass. If you don't reach out and express your appreciation and everything, if you never have a chance to do that, then it's like kind of sad. Tom asks, what's your favorite zombie movie ever? Mine is Dawn of the Dead from 78.
I like Dawn of the Dead from '78. I also surprisingly like Zack Snyder's remake. I mean, it's not like on par with that, but it's a pretty good movie with Ving Rhames as well, because Ving Rhames is amazing, and that bus was also pretty badass. I'm just seeing some stuff. Tom put, also with zombies being a comment on capitalism, isn't it a little ironic we have to pay for a star? It's very ironic. And I like Chase comment. Every time I hear Night of the Living Dead, in my head I hear, they're coming to get you, Barbara. The Barb of that day, before Barb from Stranger Things came along.
Yeah, and Tom saying he really liked Diary of the Dead, favorite found footage movie. I have to agree with that. I like the later Dead movies, Diary of the Dead, Island of the Dead, or whatever. And and then Andy was talking trash about Land of the Dead. He called it a turd, and that's like fighting words. I'm gonna have to push him next time I see him or something, just for saying that.
Yeah.
Because I love that movie. I saw it twice on the big screen, Land of the Dead. I thought it was great. Smart. I thought it was really smart,
Yeah. I'm going to go with Chase again. My favorite zombie movie is also Shaun of the Dead, and it was also Romero's. And I will agree. I love Shaun of the Dead. I think it's brilliant and very, very funny.
Yeah, for sure. Totally funny. And well, it looks like we're coming up on an hour, man. So I heard you're doing voiceover work on a project. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called the Dead Oaks Podcast. I'm gonna be in a recurring role. The first episode already aired. It's their third season, and is a horror podcast, like with a whole story and everything. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The first episode, my voice is all like auto-tuney, but it's pretty. It's been pretty fun. I just literally recorded everything over my phone, and I've wanted to do voice work for a long time and to get paid for it as well. And I'm not saying how much I'm getting, but it's a good start. It's a good start, and it's just been a lot of fun. The guy Christopher Waltz is he's really nice and always answers my questions. But yeah, you can find me doing that. You can also find me on Twitter at bbusterbill and on Instagram blockbusterbill, because I use Instagram a lot. I know a lot of people don't, but I mostly just Twitter and Instagram. I use Facebook sometimes, but not as often.
Yeah, I've been using this website called steemit.com. It's a blogging website that's backed by cryptocurrency. So like when you make blog posts and when people comment and upvote and everything, you actually get paid in cryptocurrency that you can then transform over into Bitcoin or cash or whatever. And that's really exciting. I've been doing that. It's a really neat thing because I've always wanted a way to be able to create content and then reward people for watching it and for commenting and stuff. And you can do that on this new Steam It site, which is definitely pretty cool. Coming up for me, a couple days ago, I shot 4 videos with my friend Andy Simpson. Live on Facebook right now is us tasting durian candy, which is like the nastiest thing I've probably ever tasted. It was disgusting. But we have some other videos tasting some really good stuff out of Snack Crate and stuff. And he's going to be releasing those videos, I guess, every couple days. He'll put out a new one or whatever. And he's on the Andy Cooks Food channel, so you can find him there. I'm wanting to do some horror projects. In the past, I've tried to do horror marketing tutorials and didn't have a lot of success on YouTube. I recently uploaded them to Facebook. I uploaded the videos to Facebook and kind of had a little more success as far as views and impressions, and got a few comments and stuff. So that's pretty good. I might start doing that. I'm working on a movie called Hillbilly Worm right now, and I've shot some footage for it. I'd like to make it a feature film. I'm wanting to rank for the keyword Branson, Missouri on YouTube, and that's my plan, is to make a long video and end up ranking for Branson. If people search Branson on the YouTube, they'll find my video. That's a long-term goal for me. And you can find me at mormozine.com, the website. You can find me at twitter.com. And real quick, I meant to say this at the beginning, but please smash the like button on this video. Please share. It's probably, like, you could still share. I meant to say that at the start. But follow, subscribe, Shape Panel.
Don't forget about Twin Peaks, the finale. That's right.
That's right. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, there's going to be the Twin Peaks finale. Everybody should tune in for that. And also, you can find Odd Shape Channel on Patreon. And for a small donation, you can become a big part of Odd Shape Channel, and it's really worth it. I support a handful of people on Patreon, and it's never been a problem for me, and I really enjoy it and think it's really worth it. And so yeah, you can look me up on Facebook on my Mormo Zine Facebook page. And thanks everybody for watching. That's all I got.